Hello, Beth, and nice to meet you in cyberspace. I wasn't sure how to pronounce your last name, so I wasn't sure whether it was Gallant or Gallant. Um, just curious in my mind's ear to know what that might be. This is some video feedback. I'll address the wireframes first. I think that's probably of the most interest, and it's how I can contribute to the discussion. And then I'll look at 3.2 and 3.3, which were your milestone. Beth, I enjoyed your wireframes, and they are appropriately skeletal. I like the use of color, I guess, coding. You might, so I'm assuming that green is for navigation, orange you reserve for footer. Oh, and good on you for considering a footer. That is also a necessary part of a web page. I think that's included probably this week or next week. And also, I think the idea of bleeding photographs, left to right, is always good. Ranging a navigation vertically like this, risk getting losing some of it, but I'm sure you're aware of that. Oh, and also I appreciate your running commentary too, where you examine each one of your wireframes. And I would say that yes, 1 or 3 is good, except for just be careful about preferably losing your navigation on the first screen. Some scrolling is probably okay, but you want to try to avoid it. Also, it's not possible to know how it's going to appear on every web page or browser. Sure, browser shots or something like it will reveal certain things, but just be careful, I guess, about ranging your navigation vertically like that. Consider, too, the prime real estate on the page. The eye is thought to fall up here somewhere. And so maybe, putting things that appear on every page, such as your logo or your navigation, are good. I like that you have bled images, and that's another reason why I like 1 and 3 too. They bleed off the left and the right, top and bottom. It always makes for a cleaner, I think, web page, to avoid a lot of negative space or counter space, we used to call it. And because these white lattice works, if that makes any sense, can be a bit distracting. I think this is a much cleaner arrangement. Avoid borders of unequal widths around things. It tends to make them look a little awkward. Great sketches, and I'm glad that you took the effort and the time to format them. You might consider, this is part of a presentation, hypothetical, and perhaps apply some of the corporate styles to your web page designs, such as the typeface, using the logo maybe, but making it clear that this is a presentation. Beth, this fits the bill, and I think it's proficient in the rubric categories. The rubric, there was some confusion about whether it asked for a coded sitemap or whether a visual sitemap was what was called for. And because of the ambiguity there, I'll accept this as sort of partway to a coded sitemap. It looks like in your most recent pages that you've uploaded to the web that you have successfully linked these. So what you've got here is a list. It's an unordered list. These will come off crossed as bullets maybe when you do code it, or as you've been coding it. But it seems like you've been able to avoid those. I see that you have like a 2-level site. These are the 3 child pages. I'm glad you kept it simple. And under menu, you've got 2, one for, I guess, the regular menu, and one for specials and happy hour. The menu, you can do it 2 ways. If you're a glutton for punishment, you could code it in HTML and CSS. Or if you've taken the previous print design course and have used Pasta Amore as your client, you could then, it is Pasta Amore, right? Yes. You could then use your print version of your menu save that as a PDF. But I realize that not everybody has gone through those classes here at SNHU. And then file management, you've shown your directory structure. You're going to have an images folder with all your images, your vector work, which would probably include the logo, ideally. Oh, there it is. And in your media folder, you've put your HTML files. I suggest that that's where you put them. Floating at the same level as your home file would be okay too. But this will work. I know that this normally, if you mounted it on a web server, would read index.html if that's your home page. I hope you understand that. I may have commented on that in earlier feedback. But proficient in every rubric criteria. Beth, I wanted to show you this. This is from Mandy Sloan, who's also in this class and struggling with the same things that all of us are. And she is a couple steps closer, I think, to this is 4.2, by the way. She's got her unordered list, and that has become her navigation. And when she applies some formatting in week 5, next week, and she's got dummy pages. I think only the About menu page has content, and that's fine. But let's look at her code. Hopefully, you've seen that you can go to. I'm in Chrome on the Mac. Go to Developer, View Source, and I see her code. Here is some ample commenting. Let me enlarge this because it's really not helpful to us at this scale. This mysterious thing is host code that GeoCities places. It's a JavaScript that makes your pages, if you're hosting off GeoCities, visible and searchable. So ignore that. I know it looks mysterious. It's confusing to many people. Now here's the thing I wanted to show you. Here is her unordered list, and then here are her pages, very similar to what you've got. Just take a look at the directories. Take a look at the file paths. Here's her GeoCities, or it could be 000 web host. That's really irrelevant. She's got a folder for GRA 310, a subfolder subdirectory called website, and then finally, the names of these individual pages. So, and she's used the href to link to them. Tags. Whoops. View source. Here we go. And she has successfully imported an image. I think in your code, this may be where you got the file path wrong. So she's got an image folder, and she has placed pizza1.jpg in that, and the file path is correct. So that's what we get down here. Now you'll learn in the next couple days, how to move things around, scale them up or down, and position them more accurately using CSS. Beth, you've got the right idea. So here's what you submitted for 4.2. I'm jumping way ahead here, but I figure why not? It will probably be the most useful to you now. And I see all your ingredients. The logo looks a little squashed, and maybe what the thumbnail does to it too. And here, I presume, is your home page. Now let me move this down here. So here's what I see. I see you have the beginnings of a navigation. Great. It's on that unordered list. Take a look at Mandy's more carefully if you need to. But I see a broken link to the image. When I view the code, I see that you're already using or pointing to an external style sheet. So that may be one problem. That's the ultimate goal, but make sure that you understand inline styling as well as a embedded style sheet, because those are two other valid ways of formatting your pages. And I see that the logo PNG here, the address is incomplete. Depending on where it is on your server, you'll probably want to put a more complete absolute address on that, and then it will show up on your page. The good things I see, though, are the beginnings of a navigation, and I see that you've got looks like you've got dummy pages. Well, no, but you're linking. So that was the other criteria for the rubric, and the rubric for 4.2, which is to have uploaded linked pages. So Beth, I realize that this is a lot of information, so I'm going to leave it here. It's a 10-minute video, and I wanted to post this so that other people could perhaps benefit from it. Good going.